Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty, and today we are going to take a look at Skinbreaker. And I say a look, this is the second look because I did a video, and I apologize if you've already watched that one, where I got the artist's name wrong the very first time I mentioned it, and then it stayed in my head as that name. And I really want to apologise because this is Skinbreaker, art by David Finch, written by Robert Kirkman as well, and I do apologise if you've watched the video where I incorrectly attributed the art to somebody else. David Finch is the artist, and he's really good. And I'm not just saying that to make it up to him. Genuinely love his stuff. And he is genuinely one of the reasons why this comic book is going to be selling as well, as particularly in my store, because I have had people explicitly tell me they've seen the artwork in promos and they're aware of Finch's work in the past, and that is why they've put it on the list. And it says something that this is going to be a huge release this week in an awful lot of places, but not so much here in this store. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, stuff that tends to do well is either hugely popular IPs like Ultimate Spider-Man, Batman, Transformers, or stuff that I personally love and tell people how good it is. Think stuff like Simon Spurrier, Kieran Gillen, Al Ewing, Dan Waters, all that kind of more slightly low-key stuff that I love, and I'll tell people it's good. And it's not that I don't like Robert Kirkman, it's just I've never read anything of his where I've been like, oh wow, I can't wait for the next thing he does. I take it all as it kind of comes. And some of his bigger stuff he's more known for, isn't necessarily things I would go to comic book recommendation if somebody comes in. Like The Walking Dead is hugely popular, but I don't particularly like that long form zombie horror. I think the longer you're in a world with zombies, the harder it is to get across the terrifying nature of it, or you have to find other ways to use them as analogies for other things in the real world. And I just got a little bit bored after a long period of it. And I do think, as much as I enjoy Invincible, there is a certain element where it's almost power-based level superhero world, a little bit shonen in places, and also we have this big bad guy who will be stopped by somebody who is capable of stopping him because of his genetics and who he was born to be. And if you watch a lot of my videos, you'll know that's not the kind of thing I go for in my storytelling. This one, I feel like I went into it not being 100% sure what to expect, which is good. It's a brand new IP, it's doing something different and unusual for him. And although it started out feeling a little bit like, well, this is just somebody doing a story of tribal activities, tribalism, and looks like if you're going to be a little bit mean, they'd read that one study of Wolves in Captivity, which we don't talk about. Thankfully, there's a point around about halfway mark where after an awful lot of fantastic little show don't tell about the world they live in, the creatures that inhabit it, the society and the relationships people have with each other, we then get an actual bit of exposition about why they are the way they are, what the term Skinbreaker means, what it means for the people who live in that society, and the follow-on repercussions of that for the people who live there. And I'm like, oh, okay, this actually is doing something good. We also have some really good character interactions, fantastic bits of just people being people and how they exist in the world. It shows like a deep connection to spiritual writing. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. But the reason why I still don't think it's going to be huge is, in the comic book world, if you know a creator of something, you can go and find some of the stuff they've done and you can really enjoy it, and you can see the comparisons between the literature. I mean, I just named earlier just a bunch of writers I like rather than characters, and they are the things I'd recommend more than the characters most of the time. Because I am not going to lie when I say this, and I think any of the comic book store owner will probably agree with to a certain degree, the amount of people who come into a comic book store and be excited because they see a Walking Dead compendium on the shelf, and they're excited because they love the TV show. They might also be excited when they see the Invincible little mini volumes that have got out at the moment. We've got a whole bunch of volume ones just come in stock. They can see that both those things and be really excited because they recognise those as being things they have seen outside of a comic book store, without maybe even realising that they're written by the same person. Now, this is not true for everyone. There's one particular comic book fan who comes in the store who will know who he is if he's watching this, who absolutely does Kirkman's kind of stuff, strangely not down for this book, but he knows that this guy has done these things and will look out for his work. But with the same kind of energy, I see people coming excited to see The Boys graphic novels on the thing, and they recognise it because of the TV show and the Homelander and Billy Butcher. But when I start talking about all the other works that Garth Ennis has done that have stayed with me, even his works on The Punisher and especially Preacher, but also how important the artist is, whose name I'm absolutely blagging on at the moment, actually to Derek Robertson, was to when I first got into comic books in my late teens and early 20s. They won't be into that kind of discussion quite so much. I will still have it because it's nice to have that conversation and hopefully get people understanding more about comic books. But they will just go for the thing they've seen and recognised. And that means you could love Invincible, you could love Walking Dead, but it might not have the connection to this new book by Kirkman. I think it's a shame, because it is the most fun of his issue ones I've had in a while. That's it for me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after you, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!